Dan Labbe, cleveland.com, and the Plain Dealer, talked with Bills beat reporter Matt Parrino just about what Ken Dorsey can bring to this Browns offense. This from the Orange and Brown Talk podcast.
I think Ken has a really good demeanor about him that could help in that environment. And he's got a lot of exciting ideas. I mean, Dable credited him a lot for how that offense evolved over the years. When he left or when he was fired, Josh Allen came out, took the responsibility and said, and basically said that I wouldn't be the quarterback that I am today without Ken Dorsey. So there's inside the building, that was a really hard decision. It wasn't one where it was a decision made for a team that the expectation was to win a Super Bowl. And they were sitting at a spot outside of the playoffs after 12 games. But I think if you polled everybody in that building, everybody probably would have said they wish Ken Dorsey was still there. I don't think he was fired because he was bad at his job. It was something had to happen.
With that, let's welcome in Casey Kinnamon, Dog Pound Daily Network 216. So, Casey, you feel good that that's kind of the vibe around Ken Dorsey. Let me ask you this, though. What do you think about when you think about Brian Dable in a Ken Dorsey kind of offense? I don't have a lot of thoughts other than Josh Allen, and he ain't coming.
Yeah, that's what makes it hard, right? Like, it makes it hard to just decide how much credit or blame to give to Dorsey when they have that agent of chaos at quarterback that just kind of makes things happen, and and bad, good and bad. You know what I mean? That's just who Josh Allen is. So it's hard to decide how much of that credit to give to Dorsey or whoever. It's a weird situation. When I look at that offense in general, I see a lot of things. There's a high risk, high reward there. Like there's an intent to get the ball in playmakers' hands through Dorsey. But there's also inherent risk because they run a ton of option routes. And if your quarterback and your wide receiver are on the same page, that's what leads to a lot of turnovers. And you saw that in the first half of the season for the Bills.
Yeah, and again, that's going to be really interesting to see the evolution of it. There's a lot of similarities, I guess. More similarities than I initially thought between the offense Ken Dorsey and Brian Dable run to Kevin Stefanski's. A lot of similarities.
Yeah, a ton of similarities. Maybe that was part of the theory, is kind of keeping some of the guardrails up to what they want to approach. But the one thing that is different is the amount of shotgun that they use, having Josh Allen. And if they're trying to transition to being a much more shotgun-heavy team, maybe it makes sense bringing a guy in the building who's more adept at calling plays from that, calling the run game from that. So that has to be part of the theory. But at the end of the day, Dorsey had to sell Kevin Stefanski on his idea, his vision for what this offense could be and what his plan was to get the most out of Watson and these playmakers. And Stefanski went along with it. So he sold to him. So right now, that's all we kind of have to base our thoughts on right now.
And the other thing is Dorsey did have success, Josh Allen and Cam Newton, both mobile quarterbacks, both very, very high in their praise of them. So we'll leave it with that.